What's going on, beautiful people? This is Walt with the Just Listen podcast. I want to tell you a story about a wolf in sheep's clothing. And as you can tell from my background here, I'm actually in a garage. Yes, I'm actually at my mother in law's house in Georgia. And I wanted to post a video and I brought my stuff here so I can post for you guys here. But I wanted to talk about my experience with the wolf in sheep's clothing. Back in the early 2000s, let's say around 2008, somewhere around there, 2007, 2008. Um, I had a good friend from college and we did a lot together. We went and played basketball together. We went out and partied to the clubs together. We did a lot. He was like a best friend to me. And, we were pretty close and we worked together. He would pick me up to go to work. I would pick him up to go to work, and we did quite a bit. We did quite a bit together. We did a lot together, actually. With the church together, we talked Bible verses and things like that together. And like I said, we did a lot. Well, I was in a relationship with my now wife at the time, back 2007 time frame, 2008, and my wife and I, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, and we fell on hard times and broke up. And I ended up staying with my buddy. And would you imagine we he had an apartment, and it was used to be a school that was shut down and turned into apartments. Go figure. In the hood, also, by the way. Um, I mean, if you've ever experienced being in the hood or being somewhere where you see boarded up windows, rough roads, gas station, liquor store, church, gas station, liquor store, church. That was the type of environment that I was in staying with my buddy. And my now wife at the time was trying to get me to come back. And I was bullheaded. I was stubborn. I was very stubborn at the time. I didn't want to listen. You know, I, you know, we just, when we separated, I blew everything out of proportion. And I was like angry, and I was young and dumb. Well, the buddy that I was staying with at the time, of course, when I was staying with him, he had a one-bedroom apartment. It was basically like a one-bedroom studio cut in half. He had basically, you come in the door, there was his living room, his kitchen. He had a small stove, a microwave, and then he had a room that was his bedroom that he had an actual twin size bed in it. So I practically slept on the floor and slept on this little couch that he had. And so, he had a relationship with my then girlfriend at the time. She knew him. She knew that we were close, so it became a friendship as well in regards to my girlfriend and my one of my best friends. And so, I we were separated for some time. Let's just say my wife and I were separated for 5, 6 months. Okay, 5 or 6 months, maybe longer than that. Maybe longer, because I ended up, I was working. We were both working at the same place, basically, my buddy and I. And I just pretty much cut ties off with my now wife. This story gets good, so keep listening, keep hanging with me here. So my buddy, he would get phone calls from my wife, which was my girlfriend at the time. I'm gonna keep saying that just so you guys can know. And he was like, "Hey, it's not a good time. He's I don't know, he's acting up. He's doing this, that, and the other." He's telling her all these things that I've been doing, which I was starting to wild out. We would club 3 times out of the week. I would be drinking like crazy, and I'm being transparent with you guys. And so, you know, he was having conversations with her on the side just because she was trying to get to me, and she couldn't get to me because I would reject the phone call. So she would try to reach him to try to get to me, which wasn't working. Go down the road, some months go by again, and of course, we separate. Okay, we're completely separate. I got my own place now. She's living in the place that we stayed at together at one time, and I'm just doing my thing now. Single guy, hanging out, chilling, going out with my buddy. We go to church. And mind you, we would go to the church right after the club, basically. Like we would get 2 or 3 hours of sleep and then we go to church. Um, so my wife, which was the girlfriend at the time, the ex-girlfriend, we separated for a long time. We were separated for at least 6 or 7 months. And I fell on hard times during the recession of 2008. And in 2008, I ended up losing my apartment. And I actually stayed with my other best friend, who is like my brother. He's still my best friend. And I'm gonna get to the point of the wolves and sheep clothing. So stick with me on this. And so I was staying with my other best friend, and I was sleeping on his floor as well, because of course, when the recession hit, many people lost their jobs. I lost my job. He lost his job. And I ended up, he still had an apartment and I was losing my apartment. So I was like, hey man, is it possible that I can stay with you until I get on my feet? And of course, being the loving brother that he is, he's like, yeah, man, I got you, man. That's cool, man. You know, I could definitely use some more company. He and his girlfriend and my niece at the time, they were still trying to figure it out financially as well. So I go and stay with my boy. Like I said, he was like a brother. He's my brother, really. He's really my brother. I got a lot of brothers, but he's really my brother. And you know, still doing the same thing. I was in a dark place, and I kid you not. I'm 43 now, but if you are 18 listening to me right now, just understand that I was once 18, I was once 25, and there are times when you have the ups and downs, right? You have these ups and downs in life. Not everybody was blessed with a silver spoon where their family has money and things like that. And so I was in a dark place where I was drinking every day, going and getting a double deuce or getting a 24-ounce Bud Light at the Speedway that was down the street from my buddy's apartment. And so, something hit me, and I started just trying to mend bad relationships that I had in the past, and just telling people I'm sorry, and just let them know, hey, I was wrong, because I was stubborn, and also I was selfish. You're learning, and as a man, you learn, and of course, everybody has their selfish side to them, and that was me. And so I'm reaching out to my ex, which is now my wife, who was actually, kind of in a relationship with somebody else. And I'm reaching out to her and just apologize and saying, I was wrong. I was very selfish and I apologize. And she reciprocated. She's like, you don't need to apologize. We're young, we're still young, and we're still trying to figure it out. And I had so much love for her. And so we met up and we talked and everything. And lo and behold, we have been married now for 15 years. Case in point, we've been married now for 15 years. And the buddy that I was staying in the apartment in the hood, there was a point in time when I was staying with my other buddy and I needed some money. And I asked him, hey man, can you loan me $20? And he's like, man, I don't got it. But later that week, he hit me up saying, let's go to the club, man. Let's go to the club. Knowing I didn't have any money, I said, I can't do it. And he was like, man, I got you, man. I got you. I got you into the club. Okay. I said, really? Really? You mean to tell me that you can get me into the club, but you couldn't loan me $5 or $10 to put gas in my car so I can try to find a job? I cut ties off right then and there. I cut ties off because I knew that this person was a wolf in sheep's clothing. Even though we went to church together, we went to college together, we played basketball together, we did all these things together. I really knew his true feelings. And I really knew that he wasn't going to be a friend for life, because if he could disregard me reaching out for him for help, with giving me money for gas and I'll pay him back when I get the chance to, he was only worried about the entertainment when it came to going out and doing something that he wanted to do, which was very selfish. And basically, we all have those tendencies, but this was a very selfish thing. It gets worse. So listen to this part. So my now of 15 years of marriage wife, we're still trying to mend the relationship from what happened in the past of our relationship. There was no cheating, by the way, just to keep it real. And so she says, I have to tell you something. I really wanted to tell you this, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings. Excuse me. And so I said, what is it? And she was like, I was out at this party or this club, and I saw your friend, our friend that we hang out with, or I saw our friend that you stayed with when we separated at the club. And he was at the club. I seen him, all that good stuff, right? Later that night when the club was ending, I was leaving the club, and he asked me if he could get a ride because he lost his keys, and it was very late. So knowing that he was your friend and my friend, and that you guys were close and everything like that, I was like, well, it's late. He was saying that he lost his keys to get into his place and everything. So I was going to just let him stay in my apartment on the couch until the morning time, where he can actually, get somebody to get this spare key for him or try to get his keys. And I said, what? I said, seriously? And she was like, yes. She was like, I really felt skeptical, but this was like your really close friend, like your brother. And whenever we were in the car, he was talking bad about you, and I just knew something was up with him wanting to come to my place, thinking that maybe something may pop off with us. So I ended up calling my then boyfriend at the time, whenever we were driving to my place. And he noticed that I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, and was like, no, 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 you can drop me off here. You can drop me off here. I can get my buddy. I can get somebody to come and get me and all this kind of stuff. But at first, he wasn't trying to do that. And so the moral of this particular story is that we got to be careful of those wolves out there that look like sheep. We have to be careful, because there are going to be people out there that will play the game to try to hurt you or use you. And I'm talking to you young men and women out there. I'm talking to the ones that are still trying to figure it out and grow and gain maturity like I did and like I'm doing now. Is be careful of the wolves in sheep's clothing, because they will try to get over on you and use you. And when you're used up, they're gone. Know your true friends, know the people that are true to you, and also understand that we are in a society where there are more people out here that try to hurt you than they do to try to help you. Hell, we see it day in and day out with the politics and the political side of things. And the reason why I put my voice out there in this ecosphere, into the ether, to all you guys, is because if I knew a little piece of what I know now when I was growing up, if I knew a little piece, I would be in a better position. But here I am. And I'm not saying that I'm a failure. I'm not saying that I'm not blessed, because I'm definitely blessed. But there were a lot of things that I would do all over again back in the past to what I am at now. So listen, with that being said, I am Walt from the Just Listen podcast. If you don't know me now, go ahead and try to get to know me. I'm going to keep it real with you with my research and the information that I get. We are in a time where the world is going against us, and it's the people with the money that want to make us even poorer. Be careful out there. God bless. Peace out.